Police say the parents of 4-year-old Javeayah Harris are now under arrest. The missing child is at the center of a massive search that is sadly now leading to a deadly update. News 19's Ariana Clay is sharing more from today's news conference, including ongoing efforts centered around this little girl.
There are 200 people outside right now. Volunteers, officers, federal agents, dogs trained to find the living, drones cutting through the South Carolina sky. An entire community that showed up strangers holding flashlights, walking fields in brutal summer heat, calling out a name. All of them searching, all of them praying. None of them knowing that the only person who could end this search in an instant was already sitting somewhere watching it unfold. She was 4 years old. Let that land for a second, because everything else in this story only hits as hard as it should if you feel the weight of that number first. 4. The age when kids are still learning how to tie their shoes. When the world is still enormous and magical and safe, or at least it's supposed to be. The age when the only thing a child should have to worry about is whether there's enough time to play before dinner. She never got that. And the people who were supposed to make sure she did are exactly who this story is about. Here's what makes this case unlike almost anything we've covered on this channel. The search was real. The helicopters were real. The FBI presence was real. The tears, the vigils, the community rallying together, all of it, real. But the disappearance? That part was constructed, carefully, deliberately, by the very people the world was watching cry on camera. By the time anyone dialed 911, this little girl had already been gone for a month, a full month. 30 days of silence while life moved forward inside that house like she had never existed at all. We are going to walk you through every single detail, the text messages that went unanswered, the investigators' shift from search to something far darker, the water, the timeline, the press conference that made a sheriff visibly break in front of a crowd, and by the time we reach the end, you will understand not just what happened, but how something this unthinkable was able to stay hidden for as long as it did. But before we go any further, we need to be upfront with you. What you are about to hear is deeply disturbing. This case involves the death of a child, and the details, while presented respectfully, are not easy to sit with. If that is something you need to step away from, we understand completely. For those of you staying with us, we are glad you're here. Because cases like this one deserve to be heard, and this little girl deserves for her story to be told. If you are new to Unsolved Files, welcome, and please take a moment right now to subscribe so you never miss a case. We drop new content regularly, and every story we cover is researched, fact-checked, and told with the seriousness it deserves. And we always love knowing where our community is watching from. Drop your city, your state, your country in the comments below. Every single one of us, no matter where we are in the world, showed up tonight for the same reason. Because a 4-year-old girl named Javeayah Harris deserved better. And the least we can do now is make sure her story is never forgotten. Let's get into it. Her full name was Javeayah Harris, 4 years old. She lived at 39 Hillsborough Street, near Ridgecrest Road, in Aiken County, South Carolina, a mid-sized community that sits right on the Georgia border, just next door to Augusta. Her father was Johmarea Harris, 23 years old. Her mother, Michilae Herring, 22. They were not married girlfriend and boyfriend sharing a household, raising a daughter together, and at the time this story begins, expecting a second child. Michilae was 39 weeks pregnant when the 911 call was made. Her due date was July 15th. Before any of this became a headline, the people who knew Javeayah described a kid who was hard to miss. Her father spoke about her on camera to a local news reporter during the search, and what came through in that interview was specific. He said she talked well better than most kids her age. She held full conversations. She responded to adults with yes ma'am and no sir without being prompted. She was sharp, present, and socially aware in the way that some children just naturally are from an early age. Early media reports suggested she might be nonverbal or on the autism spectrum. Johmarea pushed back on that directly. He explained that doctors had told the family Javeayah could not be formally tested until she turned 4. She had just reached that age. No evaluation had taken place, and in the time they had raised her, neither parent had observed signs that would suggest a developmental condition. The family had no official diagnosis to point to in either direction. What they had was a daughter who, by their account, communicated clearly and engaged fully with the world around her. There is one detail from that same interview that stayed with reporters after the fact, and it is worth holding on to now, even though its full significance will not become clear until later in this story. When Johmarea was asked whether Javeayah was the kind of child who might wander off or go with a stranger, he said no, she would not run. But he added something else. He said she was friendly, with everybody, that she did not have what he called a stranger danger instinct, that she was just open and warm with anyone she came across. He said it like it was one of her best qualities, and at the time, it was. File that detail away. It matters. Before the search teams assembled, before the roadblocks went up, before a single dog hit the ground or a drone lifted into the South Carolina sky, there was one person already asking where Javeayah was, and nobody was giving him a straight answer. Javeayah's uncle, known to the family by his nickname, Junebug, began reaching out to Michilae Herring in early May 2026. The messages started around May 3rd and 4th. He was checking in, asking about the family. And on the surface, Michilae was responsive. She was texting back. The conversation was moving. But here's what stood out when those exchanges later surfaced. In round after round of messages, Javeayah's name did not come up on Michilae's side. Not once. Michilae talked about herself, about the pregnancy, about Johmarea, the new baby coming, life at the house. But the 4-year-old who lived in that house, absent from every response unless Junebug brought her up first. And he did bring her up, directly. He asked about his niece, asked where she was, how she was doing, why she was not showing up in any of the conversation. Each time he steered the exchange toward Javeayah, something shifted. The responses slowed, the subject changed, or the reply stopped coming altogether. He did not let it go. He sent Michilae a photo, something related to work he had been doing, and asked her to have Johmarea send some recent pictures of Javeayah back. A simple request. The kind families make all the time. What he got in return was not a current photo. It was not a video from that week or even that month. Michilae sent him an old clip of Javeayah at a park, playing pirates. And she told him that one day they could all go fishing together. That was it. An old video and a future plan that never materialized. Now, it is important to be precise here. The screenshots of these text exchanges have not been independently verified by law enforcement. Investigators have not publicly confirmed whether the messages form part of the active criminal investigation. What has been reported is that the exchanges surfaced and were widely circulated during the period following the arrests. What makes them significant is the timing. The arrest warrants allege that the abuse inflicted on Javeayah occurred between May 1st and the 15th of June 2026. Junebug's text messages, his questions, the deflections he received, the old video sent in place of a current photo fall directly inside that window. He was asking the right question at the right time. The answers he was given were designed to keep him from knowing what was actually happening inside that house. He kept asking anyway, and that matters. If you are new to Unsolved Files, this is the kind of case we stay on, from beginning to end, every warrant, every court date, every development. Subscribe now so you do not miss a single update on this story as it continues to unfold. To understand how this case developed, it helps to know where these two people came from before they were living at 39 Hillsborough Street in Aiken. Both Johmarea Harris and Michilae Herring have documented ties to Union County, South Carolina. That detail is worth noting now because Union County sits approximately 2 hours north of Aiken, the same general direction investigators would later travel when the search for Javeayah shifted outside of Aiken County entirely. That connection has not been officially explained by law enforcement. It is in the record, and it is relevant. Public court documents out of Union County fill in part of the picture. Michilae Herring was named in an eviction case filed by the Union Housing Authority on the 3rd of December, 2025. The case moved quickly. A writ of ejectment was issued, and the court found in favor of the plaintiff on the 6th of January 2026, less than 5 weeks before the events of this story begin. Johmarea Harris appears in a separate eviction case filed by Magnolia Rental Property Management, also in Union County, dated the 25th of September, 2023. That case was settled by the 1st of November, 2023. These are public records. They are included here not to assign blame or build a character case, but because they establish a pattern of instability in the period leading up to the family's time in Aiken, and they confirm that both individuals had prior roots in the same region where investigators would later focus a major recovery operation.